I'm with this Indian friend tonight. You're like, oh, he's Indian, no problem. My car, like, didn't have a muffler. When I turned it on, it was just like... I told you were a huge lie to my parents. But...
Whoops.
Hey, I did it underneath the bed. I went underneath the bed. So I did the one thing I knew how to do, which was lie. Give them a reason to trust you by not lying and telling them the truth, even if they're going to beat your at the end of the day.
What? This week, we are going to be talking about why Suketu lied to his parents about literally everything and why I never lied to mine, because we all know deep down, I'm a huge people pleaser. Be sure to stick to the end because we are answering one of your questions of the week. Let's get into this half-past crew.
Welcome to
Half-Past Job.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of Half-Past Job. Excuse my voice. My name is Suketu.
My name is Hallie.
And if you can't already tell, we're an interracial couple. I'm super Indian.
I'm super white.
And that is what we talk about. We talk about being an interracial couple. We talk about relationships. We talk about questions that you guys submit at www.halfpastshot.com. So thank you for doing that. And as always, we release new podcast episodes every Monday at 7 a.m. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Like this video if you're on YouTube. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you follow us and give us 5 stars because that does a ton for the algorithm and it can get it out to more people who want to watch and listen. So settle in, get cozy, grab your cha, and let's get into it. Anyways, everybody, I'm a little sick today. We'll talk more about that later.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows you're so freaking sick.
Listen,
you just love when people know that you're sick.
I like to be a little dramatic sometimes. All right. I'm allowed to be a little dramatic. All right. I just want to talk about lying today.
What a transition.
Yeah. Lying is so bad, Hallie.
It is. And I have to say that we were absolutely flooded, and I mean flooded, with DMs, texts, comments on the last podcast because we just briefly touched about how much you lied to your parents. And people resonated with that. It struck up the whole conversation, you guys, okay? And everybody related to you.
Which is interesting because I didn't expect so many people to lie to their parents. Like I thought I was like really bad. I'm a chronic liar. Like I lie so much, not
Facts.
as much anymore. Well, sometimes I do. It's carried over a little bit here and there, but it's not as bad as it used to be.
It's more so now just exaggerating. Like I'm pretty sure anybody that knows you.
It's called a hyperbole. I love hyperboles. I love exaggerating here and there.
And interrupting as well, obviously.
That too.
You're an exaggerator. I remember that. That's like one of the first qualities that I remember about you. You would lie and you would exaggerate. And yeah, I didn't think that would be damaging later on, but it can be when you're constantly exaggerating, stretching the truth a little bit here and there, telling little white lies. It's because you just were always doing that.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I think I would like to start with the first lie I ever remember telling.
Tell us, please. Paint a picture, set the scene.
So I wasn't like this usually. I wasn't a chronic liar, but there was this one day. It was in 2nd grade. Okay?
Started young.
It was in 2nd grade and I got something called a red card during lunch. So we had a traffic light in lunch. It was like green, that means you can talk. Yellow means, hey, you got to whisper. And then red was no talking.
Like just in the classroom, like you guys need to be quiet. Okay.
Yeah, this was in a lunchroom though.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, during lunch, it was red. It was a red light. So no talking. And I used to talk so much. I used to talk all the time.
Used to?
I still do.
Yeah.
I used to talk all the time.
Thank you.
And I got in trouble for talking during that red period. So I got a red card. And when you get a red card, you have to have your parents sign the red card and bring it back the next day. So I had to tell my parents why I got a red card. I had to make them sign the card. And I was so scared. At the time, I was terrified of my parents. I was scared of my mom. I was scared of my dad. I was very afraid of what was going to happen. So I did the one thing I knew how to do, which was lie. I did not tell my parents anything. I signed the red card with my mom's signature that I found on a paper that she had. I found her signature, so I counterfeited that.
You forged it.
I could go to jail for this. Technically, it's counterfeit. Okay, I wrote her signature into the card, and I submitted it the next day. I was shaking as I was turning it in. Okay, I was shaking. I was freaking out because if I got caught, I'd cry.
Where did you do this? Like, did your parents know that? Like, did they ever see any trace of the paper or anything? Like, how did you hide
this story or something?
Like, how did you hide it?
I was underneath the bed. I did it underneath the bed. I went underneath the bed and I signed the thing, and then I crawled back out from underneath so nobody would see me. But this was my first ever like actual lie.
Okay.
And from there, it just kept getting worse.
From there, it just like was a snowball effect.
It really was.
So why did you lie? Why did you lie?
Why was I afraid to tell the truth? I consider not telling the truth also lying, by the way. Like I'm not the kind of person, like if you avoid the truth, like you just don't tell them, that's lying in my sense. Okay. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I didn't want to tell him because I was scared that I was going to get like slapped or yelled at or something like that. Right. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want that to happen. And at the end of the day, when I think about it, if I told them that I got in trouble for talking, I don't think my parents would have cared at all.
For talking? No, because you talk all the time. So like, I don't think it would have been a big deal.
Well, I don't know why I made it such a big deal, but as a kid, you know, you just think about everything. Like you're the center of the world at the time, right? So it's just...
Well, some mindsets never change, apparently. However, I completely understand though, because when you're a kid, you feel like everything is the end of the world. Like I got a red card too. I can't remember what for. But I felt like it was the end of the world, and I was scared to tell my parents. I don't know that
tell them though.
Maybe I didn't.
You didn't? Then how did you get away with it?
I don't know. This is bringing up past childhood traumas for me. Did you get a red card? Comment below if you got a red card. Now apparently I guess I got one. I don't remember why though. Maybe I didn't do my homework or something like that.
I just can't believe like that little lie that we told like when we were kids, it started to like snowball into something bigger.
So you just continued to lie after that is what you're saying?
And so like, yes, I did. And like, I'm going to give you a few examples here and there. And I want you to like, tell me if that's, it's okay. Or if it's like really bad.
Do you want me to like rate them?
Yeah, you can rate them.
Like on an A through F tier?
Yeah, okay. Might as well.
All right.
Okay. So after the second grade incident, I had a few more incidences like that came up. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Fourth grade, there was a time where I got another red card for getting nosy. Okay, I don't want to talk about it. Maybe another episode I can talk about it. I get nosy sometimes. I just wanted to know some information. I got into a place that I wasn't supposed to be in.
In fourth grade. So just shortly 2 years after. So first was talking, second, okay. That one sounds like you got problems.
Didn't tell my parents about that one. And then skip forward a few years. I snuck out once or twice of the home, my parents' home.
Oh my gosh.
I was in high school and I just snuck out just once or twice. Once was to do some fireworks with a friend at like 1 a.m., which was kind of stupid, but it was fun. Another time was another girl, not Hallie, just to go say hi.
Hello. Do your parents know about either of these?
Nope.
I can't wait for them to watch this.
So
Mommy.
that was too bad. Hey, I shouldn't have taught her that one. But yes, I did that once. And to me, the biggest lie that I told that I still feel bad about today is not just you. Okay, you're a big lie. I told you were a huge lie to my parents. But
whoops.
One of the biggest ones that I felt terrible about is this amusement park that I went to called Kings Island. Okay. I told my parents that I was going to a track meet and I actually ended up going to Kings Island. I took my parents' car to Kings Island with a bunch of people. And after like talking out, like saying this out loud. I'm like, dang, this is like so stupid. Why didn't I just tell them that I was going to Kings Island? So I didn't do it. I didn't tell them. And I went. And 2 weeks later, the truth came out. And my parents found out that I was lying. A lot of the lies that I've told, nobody ever found out about it.
Until now.
Until the Kings Island moment. And this was huge. My mom cried. She's like, I'm never going to trust you anymore. She was like, I can't believe my son would do this. And I was like, Mom, no, no. And I think she also said like she's just disappointed in me.
Oh
which is
God,
like
that's the worst.
the worst feeling in the world.
When you disappoint your parents or when they start crying because of something you did, oh my God. Or like crying about, oh my, yeah. No, that's like the lowest of the low.
This was like a 2-week thing. Like she was like not talking to me for like 2 weeks.
Oh my God. It's like eternity too.
Yeah.
It's like 2 weeks. It feels like eternity.
So that was like the worst. Okay. And why do we do this?
So you said you felt really bad about that one, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel bad about it because you got caught?
Yes. That's
What
the
if
thing.
What if you didn't get caught? What if you didn't get caught?
If I didn't get caught, I'd be like, man, I went to Kings Island. Nobody told me no. Like I was so fun, so cool.
How did the truth come out?
I like posted on social media and one of my sisters had it pulled up and she was like, whoa, this picture's so cool. And my mom's like, what picture? And then it was me at the top of the tallest roller coaster at the amusement park. And it was me doing this.
Woo! I got away with it.
And she's like, when was this? And I was like, well, you see, it was about 2 weeks ago. And I just like blurted everything out, thinking that it wasn't going to be a big deal, but it was a big deal. So that's how that came out.
I don't think your mom was upset that you actually went. She was just hurt that you didn't feel like you could come to her and tell her about it.
Yeah.
So
And
that was the disappointment.
That is exactly what she said. She's like, I'm just mad that you didn't tell me. Like if you had just told me, we would have taken you. And I was like,
That's even worse.
so bad.
How fun was that trip? And then how much did it get ruined after that happened?
I didn't want to go to Kings Island after that ever again. So it was bad. Those were just a few of my lies. And then I want to talk about the girlfriend lie, which was Hallie over here. But I want to talk about your lies.
I want to talk about the other girlfriend. Why you were sneaking out to go see somebody else?
I never ended up seeing them. So I just snuck out for no reason, technically. Yeah.
How did you do that exactly? You lived in a 2-story house. How did you like sneak out?
The worst part was my car like didn't have a muffler. And if you don't know what that is, the muffler is kind of what keeps the car quiet. And at the time, when I turned it on, it was just like, it just like pops, right?
Was it outside the house or was it in the garage?
It was outside.
Okay,
It
so
was on the street.
you get in and you're like, I can just picture you just tiptoeing. You get in, you shut the door. Oh, I made it. You turn the car on, and then you're like,
dude, it was so loud. The car that I tried to sneak out with was so loud that I knew I was like, I'm gonna get caught, but I just did it anyways. I don't know why.
I cannot wait to talk to your parents about this.
Yeah.
This is gonna be so much fun.
What did you lie about, Hallie?
You know, as we were kind of planning this episode and really thinking about it, we didn't tell each other what our lies were going to be coming into this episode, and for good reason, because we really wanted to just kind of have natural reactions to it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know that besides that one red card, I don't know that I've ever lied to my parents, ever. I legitimately could not think of anything. I couldn't think of anything.
Do you feel like your parents just made you feel safe to tell them anything?
Yeah, like there was nothing. First off, I didn't do anything crazy, so there wasn't a need for me to lie. I always felt really comfortable telling them anything and everything just because it's a very judgment-free zone, and they were just easy to come to if I had any problems or not even just like things I wanted to tell them. And I didn't feel restricted in any way. So I feel like that's one of the key drivers to why some people lie. Because I had friends that lied. I had friends that lied a lot growing up. And they were like, oh, I can't tell my parents or I have to keep this from them because they're going to freak out or whatever. And I never had that experience. So it just makes me wonder because like like I said, a lot of my friends like had to lie to their parents, and like I just didn't. That was a concept I didn't really understand. And then I met you, and I was like, what the heck? Like you're lying to your parents? Like I don't have anything. Like I never snuck out.
The funny
Mom
thing
and Dad,
is,
I never snuck out. First off, I didn't want to or need to. I liked sleeping too much.
I hope they don't hear this part, but I tried to make you sneak out once, and then it was literally for no reason. It was just like
Just to say we've done it.
To say we've done it, right?
Yeah.
And so like I was like, I'll pick you up, like blah blah blah, and you're like, I'm just gonna tell my parents if I really want to. Like I can just go out at like 2 a.m. if you want, but like you just were like, can I just tell my parents about it?
But that was like I get what you mean, because that was like destroying the whole concept of it. Like the purpose is to sneak out and to say I've snuck out. I've never tried to sneak out. Like that example.
I'm such a bad influence. I'm so sorry.
You are. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was such a goody before I met you, and then you're crazy.
This is what happens when you have strict parents. You just become a terrible kid.
See, like one of my really good friends like had super strict parents, and like she could not tell them anything.
Yeah.
And I experienced this through her, and I would be like, wow.
And then when you get out of the house, like into college and stuff, that's when it starts to get really bad. That's when you like are like, oh, I'm going to experiment with everything. And then it ends up being really bad.
Yeah. Like I know people, like I said, I know people who just went absolutely crazy in college and were like just constantly partying and partied their school away. And like, honestly ended up really regretting it because like it just really, and it's sad because if you don't feel like you have that freedom and you feel so restricted for really your whole childhood until you go off to college. And we didn't even go far to college. Like we still literally lived at home, and we didn't do anything crazy. Like I never lied to my parents. That's the whole summarization synopsis of this. But I'm going to try and continue to think throughout this. What would I have lied to them about?
Yeah.
The red card. Can you think of anything? Like in the time that we were dating?
Have they ever told you that they were disappointed in you? Like what did you do to make that cause them that?
Maybe once, but that's for a different episode.
Oh, look at that. Hallie's afraid to talk about it. Okay, we'll definitely I'll get it out of her at some point.
Maybe.
So my parents were strict. Okay, they were strict in a few things. They were academics, and they wanted me home on time.
Yeah,
they were very strict about that. I don't know the home on time reason. Like I don't know why they wanted me home on time. I don't know if it was because my mom wanted me to eat. I think that was the reason. I had to eat dinner at home, okay? Eating out was not an option. I don't know if you guys ran into the same situation, but eating out, bad. Eating at home, good. Dal bhat saag rotli, you gotta eat that.
Dal bhat saag.
Okay? Every night. That's just what you do. And so that was one of the main reasons that my parents used to say, hey, you gotta be home. So main things I lied about. I didn't lie about school. Because I was just good.
Did you lie about
student over here?
No, did you lie about that C that you got in swimming?
No, I told them about that, and they put me in swimming class.
Oh.
So synopsis: I've only had 2 C's in my entire lifetime. Okay, I got a C+ in swimming, which was so dumb. And I told my parents about it. I cried for like 3 days, and when I told them, they didn't care about swimming. Okay, I thought they were gonna care, but they didn't care, and they put me in like swimming class the next year, so I was fine.
You were 11 with like 3-year-olds?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
That's unfortunate.
But the second time I got a C, I think I told them about that too. Like I wasn't worried, but I did go to India one year.
No way.
When I was in 11th grade, and I didn't take any final exams that for that semester. So like I went in December, right? So all the December exams, I didn't take any of them. I just told them like, hey, I'm going to leave at the beginning of December. And they were like, oh, we don't have any of the exams done yet. So I just didn't take them. And so
what is your life?
And so I got F's in all the classes.
Oh.
And I showed my mom that report card. I was like, Mom, I got F's and everything because you made me go to India.
Oh my God. You're insane.
And yeah, she was freaking out. That was the only time I've ever seen my parents freak out about academics. But anyways, I took the final exams after I got back. That was fine. Ended up getting all A's again.
Again. Okay.
Schools, I never lied about anything to do with school except who I was talking to. And then when it came to curfew, I lied so much. My parents never knew where I really was, and I feel so bad now. I just wish I told them the truth because they never knew. Like, I was always at Hallie's house. I guess that's maybe that I can't tell them that.
Shocker. Yeah.
I was always at Hallie's house, and I was like, "Hey, I'm with a friend right now." They're like, "Which friend?" I'm like, "This other friend. His name is Micah." I would think I went to Micah all the time. He's been on the podcast before. Great kid. Love the guy.
That's like
Him.
major sus. Major sus.
Him, and then if I used to always be like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm with this Indian kid," right? Just
Oh my gosh.
imagine, like, I have a ton of Indian friends in high school, and I just used to say that all the time. I was like, "Yep, I'm with this Indian friend tonight," and they were like, "Oh, no problem, no problem." They're like, "Oh, he's Indian, no problem, no problem. Stay as long as you want. Spend the night." But I was always afraid that they were gonna call their mom because they all the Indian kids, like, my parents had their numbers, right?
Yeah.
Their parents' numbers.
Yeah.
So that was always a scary, like, you got to make sure that doesn't happen. But those are the only things I lied about, really. I don't remember like anything like crazy besides who I was with, and sometimes something in school that I got in trouble for.
See, from my perspective, I never had to lie about that. I never had to lie about who I was with. My parents were really laid back, and like, they knew all my friends. They would only be skeptical if I was like, "Oh, I'm hanging out with this new person," or like a guy. My dad would be like, "What? A guy? Come over here. Like, I definitely, whenever I would hang out with a guy, he would always come to my house first, mainly like a group setting, because it was easier for like my parents to meet him, and they were a lot more chill if they were to meet him and be like, "Oh, okay, you can go hang out and like do whatever you want." Because like, if I was 16, like, you know, your parents still dictate like kind of who you hang out with, and like, I'm not old enough to be like, "I'm gonna go do this on my own." And like, I didn't even have a car or a license back then. Like 16, I think I got my license when I was 17. So like, I didn't have that freedom just yet. Yeah. So I had to be strategic about, okay, like, if I want to hang out with this person, like, they, even girl or guy, whatever, but like, it's good for them to just come meet my parents, because then if they come meet my parents, then my parents will like never question it, right? Like, and rightfully so. Like, they know the person and they're going to be really chill about it. But yeah, I remember like, it was so hard when I didn't have a car hanging out with people, because my parents would drive me places. And it's so embarrassing when you're like 16 or 17, you don't have a license, you don't have a car, and your mommy and daddy are dropping you off. That's why I was so thankful for you, because you got your license like really early.
Got it really early.
And you're also a year older than me, so you were just driving me around and doing things with me all the time.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That was fun.
But yeah, I didn't have to...
I thought of something.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
For me?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
So some things that people lie about a lot to their parents is alcohol and drugs, right?
Okay.
Alcohol and drugs. That's something that I don't really dabble in. Did you ever like drink alcohol and like tell your parents, or no?
The first time I ever had a sip of alcohol was at my brother's wedding, and it was champagne, and it tasted awful.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I never tasted alcohol in my life.
Yeah. So I guess, so we're bad people to ask in this situation, but a lot of friends that I know don't tell their parents that they drink alcohol.
Oh yeah, like so many. Well, so I played volleyball, and like so many of the girls that I played volleyball with just partied all the time, and I honestly wasn't in the cool crowd, so I never got invited to things like that.
Loser.
I thought, shut the fuck. You are such a... You're so mean. Really, like, you were cool?
I was the cool kid, everybody.
Okay, but what about before you made the lip dub? Were you cool?
Let's not talk about that.
I don't think so. There were so many other Indian kids in your grade that were so much cooler than you.
They were.
No, I'm kidding. Dang it, you made me lose my train of thought.
What were we talking about again? Who are we talking about?
Who are we talking about? That's from Chicken Little. I love that movie. Shout out. I'm sweating.
I forgot what we were talking about.
I know.
Oh, alcohol.
I don't drink it.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
I mean,
We both don't drink it.
I don't do
and
drugs.
We don't do drugs. Well, sometimes we do when we're in New York City.
Yeah, apparently. Apparently we've done drugs.
That's a story for another day.
Yeah.
I think in Asian culture, it is just more likely that you're going to lie to your parents. Okay. That's the end of the story. Okay. You just stop lying though, because it's not good. Your parents want to trust you. Give them a reason to trust you by not lying and telling them the truth, even if they're going to beat your at the end of the day.
What? Yeah. Cause I mean, I guess like I'm sweating. Stop making me sweat. Oh my God. I wanted to pull up like some of the comments that we got because they were really funny. So one of the comments was, "Thank you, bro. You can understand our problems with our typical Indian parents. We don't get freedom, even though I'm 23 years old in India, but in USA, children are never free from their parents. As an Indian child, I can confirm we be lying."
Yeah. It's just the truth. And I think it's okay to lie here and there, but those bigger things, when you know, like, you got to probably tell them the truth at some point, it's better just to start with the truth. Okay? That's the end of the story. And that brings us to one of my favorite parts of
what is it?
the episode, which is questions of the week.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. He just never stops clicking the button.
Here's the question, everybody. Thank you for submitting, by the way, because you went to www.halfpastshot.com. My boyfriend is Indian, and I'm a white American. Huh. Seems very familiar. We've been dating for 6 months, and I'm super happy with him. That's a good thing.
Yes.
You got to be happy with him.
We're happy to hear that.
Our relationship is really good with great communication. We talk about bigger stuff and have a ton of fun together.
Good.
We both put in the effort.
Slay.
Throughout, we've had misunderstandings that keep coming up.
I get that one.
Where he grew up, women only went out in public with somebody, never alone. I would say that I'm on the far side of independent, even for an American. We know this is a cultural difference because it's hard balancing that it makes him scared for me to go out alone. And how I was raised, being that if a boyfriend is like that, it would seem super controlling. I never get any feeling of him trying to control, just genuine fear for someone he loves. Do you have any advice navigating a cultural difference where each of us have the opposite thing very ingrained into us? Thank you. This is a great question for a great episode because we just talked about how the difference is. Like, she's not afraid to tell her parents anything. No lying involved. I have to lie sometimes because I'm scared. To this day, I'm scared of my parents. Sometimes I don't lie anymore. Sometimes I might.
You lie to me like all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of carried over.
You just
I'm
lie to
scared of this
everybody.
one now, so I have to lie to
one.
her.
Don't be scared of me, you chicken. You chicken bottle. Who we talking about?
Who are we talking about?
Who we talking about?
Anyways, this is a great question. I do think that having this specific mindset is a hard one to deal with, especially because you yourself feel like you're an independent woman. You can do whatever you want.
Boss.
Do you feel like you're an independent? Do you feel like I'm controlling?
See, okay. As you read it, I was relating this to our relationship because in the environment I grew up in, and I still remember this, I've just always been this way, very relaxed, very nonchalant, very, I don't want to say independent, but very, just, like I'm okay with doing things myself, right? And we'd been dating for 2 days at this time. So let's go all the way back to 2015. I remember just having a conversation with some of our friends. We were at a cross-country meet. And again, we were very new in our relationship. And one of the biggest things that I noticed right off the bat is that I don't want to say the word clingy, but very like something happened.
Just spit it out, Hallie.
Something happened that made me realize this. So there was a group of girls that walked by and one of our friends jokingly said, "Oh, Suketu, look at those girls." And he was like, "Hallie, do you care?" Like saying something stupid. Like, "Do you care if he looks at other girls?" And I was like, "No, I don't care if he looks at other girls." Just showing how laid back I am. And you're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you would say that." Blah, 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 blah. And I, was so sure of myself and so confident, like, well, you just asked me out. Like, if you want to be with me, you want to be with me. If you don't want to be with me, then you don't want to be with me. It's as simple as that. And so I think that's carried over a lot into our relationship, just to tie it back to what we're talking about now, because to the point of how you reacted to that situation, you very much so want to be with me, right? And it's but I don't think it comes from a place of wanting to be controlling. You just love to be involved. You love
That's an easy way to say. That's a nice way to say it.
No, like you love to be involved. You don't want to feel left out. Like you want to make sure that I'm safe.
And I want to control you.
I feel like there might be like a little bit of that in certain situations, but like you get such bad FOMO. I'll all the time I am like, okay, I'm going to go to the store. And you're like, oh, but I want to go to the store. I'm like, okay, well, come on. Like you're going to push the cart then.
I feel like this is definitely growing up thing for sure. Like my parents went together to everything. Like they were together.
Mine did not.
Like they never, like they go to the store. My dad hated going to the store. He's like, it makes me dizzy. The lights are too bright.
Oh my gosh, that's so dramatic.
He always went, no matter what. Even if it was to a clothing store. He hated clothing stores because he never bought anything. My mom in there for like 2 hours, but they always went together. Yeah. So to me, I'm like, this is normal. It's feels wrong to not go with you no matter what, even if it has no purpose for me.
Yeah.
So like it's just ingrained in my head. Like if we're gonna go do something, we go do it together.
See, and I'm not gonna lie, like that has been hard for me to understand, especially as we've lived together for it's almost our 3-year anniversary of us being married, which is crazy. That has been something that's been harder for me to come to terms with because, like I've said many times before, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Okay, so when you're together every single second of the day, I can feel a little claustrophobic in the sense that sometimes I need my own space. And sometimes I like to go drive by myself. Sometimes I like to go to the store and just put my AirPods in and just look around and peruse. I love using that word, peruse. Peruse very slowly, take my time, not be rushed by anyone. But there's such value in having a little bit of independence on your own because you're going to be able to bring a better version of yourself to your relationship.
Yeah.
And I truly see that. I hate when you travel. I hate it so much when you travel. However, I noticed that I miss you so much more. Did you say that's good?
No, it's good that you miss me.
You said, that's good. That's good. I'm like, okay. I was trying to compliment you. But I do miss you so much when you're gone. And so but I see, and I value the time that I'm alone because I'm able to do things for myself. I'm able to have different experiences by myself, do things I like by myself. That helps a person just to be, I don't want to say happy, be happy, but like it really does because I value my alone time and the time that I get to spend by myself so that I can just be a better version of myself when I'm around you. So I understand being independent, but also spending time together.
I think there's 2 main important things you need to know for this, which is just have open communication and there needs to be some compromise. There needs to be sometimes you guys go together. There needs to be sometimes you don't go together, whatever that togetherness aspect is. I know you're very independent. It says like you're way more on the independent side, even for an American. You're going to have some compromise there, but don't let that like ruin your identity. We still want you to be independent because that is what you enjoy being. But because you are with somebody else, you got to have that compromise there, right?
Yeah. And I think, like you said, one of the biggest keys to all of this is just communicating because if he doesn't know that you're feeling this way and then you just all of a sudden blow up in an argument and he's like, whoa, where did this come from? Right? Like, I think it's important that you talk about it. And we've had lots of conversations around it before and me telling you that I would really like to go do this by myself. And I think it's good that we have a little bit of alone time and that we have our independent time and that we do things not codependently all the time because not that you can resent your partner, but you can a little bit. And it's important that you have your own growth while growing together in your relationship as well. So I think that's very important, very crucial. And yeah, compromise is huge. I think if you satisfy his need of, like you guys going out together and doing something, then he makes sure you're protected. Whereas you still get to have your alone time and you feel independent. There's got to be a fine balance there. And you can work that out just as long as you communicate.
Exactly. That's the end of the episode, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. And to go back to what my voice sounds like, I'm sick. It sucks.
Oh, here we go.
I know that I'm a little dramatic, but it sucks being sick, okay? I hate being sick. I think a lot of people have been sick recently.
Oh, really? I don't think I can handle any more of you being sick. I really can't. And like, not even just to put into perspective, not to hate on you or like throw
In
shade
sickness
at you.
and in health.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. But like, also, I've been like the entire time. I'm better now. But like, when you were at your peak sickness, I was really heavy on my period and like feeling so awful. Feeling like, I swear this period was like amplified. It was
Because
just
of
really
me.
heavy. It was just really heavy. I had migraines. I had the worst cramps. My back, I kept getting like these really weird sharp cramp pains in my back, and it was awful. And then I was still expected to care for you because nothing would get done. We wouldn't be eating. We wouldn't have any water. We wouldn't have job. We wouldn't do anything. Literally, if I'm sick, this place falls apart. Or if I take time off. But because you were sick, I couldn't do that.
Guess what?
And it was all about Suketu. And he's all the time. I can't take it. I can't do it anymore. I really don't think I can. I'm really struggling.
Are there any other women out there who cannot handle their husbands or boyfriends or significant others being sick?
Well, I'm like, you keep trying to touch me. And I'm like, Suketu, get your sick hands off me. I don't want any of this. I don't want to touch your hands. I don't want to touch your face. I am not trying to get sick. It stressed me out even sitting this close to you because I can't get sick.
I'm trying to be nice. Okay.
It's just really hard. It's really hard. Okay, not to beat a dead horse, but it's really hard sympathizing because you're just a lot already. And then when you're sick, like and men, not all men, some men are so dramatic.
Now that that's out of the way, just a reminder, make sure you go to www.halfpastshot.com to submit your own questions and stories. We love receiving all questions from you guys, and we will try and feature every single one of them at the end of every episode. Half Past Crew, we love you. We thank you for your support. Make sure you join the Discord group if you haven't already. We can chat there. We also are going to have a meeting very soon.
A meeting. We're planning it. We're planning which day.
Chat together. It's going to be amazing. And as always, we will see you next Monday at Half Past Cha.
You were really done with me talking. You're like, let me cut this off. See, that's what you do. Keep your. Bleh. Oh my God. Okay, keep your sickness over there, please, for the love of God. Guys, I can't take it. Please send prayers. Please send help. I need help. Please. Oh my gosh, I can't do it anymore. I'm so sick. I can't do it anymore. I literally am going to lose my mind. Thank you.